The sky over Bangkok was bruised purple for days, heavy with warning. Then Typhoon Wipha struck. Rain fell in sheets, turning Klong Toei's alleys into rivers. Water rose fast, creeping up stilts, swallowing homes and memories. Families watched helplessly as their world vanished beneath the flood. The city's sounds were drowned by the roar of water. Warnings came too late. The flood filled homes in minutes. Treasured possessions, photos, toys, food were swept away. The slum, once vibrant, was suddenly still and submerged. Familiar paths, shops, playgrounds, all gone under relentless water. The community was trapped, an island in a man-made sea. For the women, this was more than disaster. It was a violation of home. They had built these spaces, knew every crack and board. The flood washed away not just property but safety and peace. As night fell, darkness and fear took over. Electricity was out, only candles and flashlights flickered. People huddled on upper floors, listening to the storm, praying for relief. The water kept rising, testing their endurance and hope. Wipha was not finished. The storm raged on, and the floodwaters continued to rise. The community's spirit was pushed to its limits. But even as the water climbed, hope endured. When the flood hit, the women acted first. They waded through chest-deep water, checking on neighbors and carrying children to safety. Ropes were strung between houses, lifelines created by women who knew every face and need. They divided food, shared water, and built makeshift rafts from scraps. Their leadership was instinctive, organizing, comforting, and keeping track of the vulnerable. They turned flooded homes into shelters, cared for the elderly, and calmed frightened children. Their work was endless, exhausting, but they did not stop. In chaos, their quiet strength was the most powerful force. They were the architects of survival, holding everyone together. Their leadership was the glue in the flood's aftermath. The women of Klong Toei were the true first responders. Their legacy would last long after the waters receded. When the waters receded, they left behind a thick, toxic mud. Homes and alleys were coated in sludge, a mix of sewage, garbage, and chemicals. Women faced the cleanup first, armed with buckets and shovels. They scooped mud from homes, pushed it from alleys, and fought an endless backbreaking battle. Debris was everywhere. Plastic, broken furniture, sharp metal, hidden dangers. They piled up trash, reclaiming their space inch by inch. Each bucket of mud removed was a statement. We will not be defeated. They rebuilt not just homes, but the community's sense of self. The cleanup was a collective act of resilience. They would not let the flood define them. The floodwaters were more than water. They were toxic, carrying disease and danger. Sewage, chemicals, and garbage turned the slum into a breeding ground for illness. Cholera, typhoid, and dengue threatened everyone, especially children. Women, as caregivers, fought to keep families safe. Boiling water, washing hands, rationing soap. Resources were scarce. Every choice was a risk. Beyond disease, snakes and other creatures hid in debris, adding to the fear. Open manholes and sharp objects lurked beneath the surface. Mothers taught children to move carefully, but vigilance was exhausting. The psychological toll was immense. Constant worry, no rest. The women's burden was heavy, both physical and mental. They endured sleepless nights, always alert to new dangers. Their strength was tested daily, but they persevered. Protecting their families became a full-time battle. The hidden dangers made recovery even harder. Yet, the women's resolve never wavered. Noi, a mother of 3, watched the water rise with barely enough time to react. She grabbed her toddler, called her sons to the roof, and lost everything as the flood swept through. They spent the night huddled on tin, Noi shielding her children from the storm. In the days after, their home was ruined. No food, no water, no dry clothes. But Noi's focus was her children's survival. She used a plastic tub as a boat, waited hours for rice and water, and found shelter in a neighbor's house. The hardest part was her children's fear. Her youngest cried at every rainfall. Noi became their strength, telling stories and singing songs to comfort them. She created moments of normalcy amid chaos. Noi's story is echoed by countless mothers. Their love became a shield against trauma. They fought for their children's survival with fierce determination. They rebuilt hope, not just homes. The mothers of Klong Toei became warriors, armed with love. Their resolve was unbreakable. Auntie Pim, in her 60s, lost her home and food stall to the flood. But she saw hunger and acted, reopening her kitchen on a patch of high ground. With salvaged pots and donated ingredients, she cooked for the community. The smell of her soup cut through the stench, drawing a line of weary neighbors. Auntie Pim served everyone, offering food and comfort. Her kitchen became a gathering place, a heart for the community. Sharing a meal brought people together, reminding them they weren't alone. Her kindness inspired others to help in their own ways. Auntie Pim's kitchen was a symbol of resilience. She gave all she had, working from dawn to night. Her simple act had a ripple effect, sparking hope. She was the heartbeat that kept the community alive. Even in loss, she found a way to give. Her spirit nourished more than bodies. It fed hope. Auntie Pim showed that one person can make a difference. Her kitchen was proof that community survives through compassion. Amid the mud, women found a marigold blooming, a symbol of hope. They protected it, watering it with precious clean water. Inspired, they started small gardens in tires and buckets, planting herbs and chilies. These gardens were more than food. They were acts of creation. Tending plants gave purpose and a sense of healing. Children joined in, learning to plant and care for the gardens. It gave them pride and distraction from trauma. The gardens became a shared project, a lesson in resilience. Each green shoot was a declaration. They would not just survive but grow. Recovery was about nurturing life, not just rebuilding structures. The gardens brought color and beauty back to the slum. They were a testament to the women's forward-looking spirit. Even after disaster, new life would bloom. The community's future was being planted, one seed at a time. Hope took root in the smallest acts. The women's story is about more than a flood. It's about poverty, resilience, and the human spirit. These communities live on the margins, often invisible. The flood briefly brought attention, but their struggles are daily and ongoing. We must see beyond disaster, see the mothers, daughters, grandmothers, and their strength. Their resilience is born of necessity, not choice. We should not just admire from afar, but ask how we can help. Support can mean donations, awareness, or advocating for better policies. These communities face growing threats from climate change. They need more than sympathy. They need action. Let's not forget them when the news moves on. Let their stories inspire compassion and engagement. The women of the slums show us what it means to care and to hope. Their story is a call to build a more just world. No community should be left behind. The floodwaters are gone, the mud cleared, and life in Klong Toei resumes. But the memory of Wipha remains, a scar and a source of pride. The community survived and rebuilt together. At the center of this resilience are the women. They anchored the community, facing every challenge with courage. Their contributions were often unseen but essential. Without them, survival would have been impossible. The gardens they planted still grow, living symbols of hope. The women continue to nurture their families and neighbors. Their work is never done. Their strength is constant. We must remember their determination and hope. Their story is a lesson in human resilience. It shows the power of community and a mother's love. Even when the waters rise, some things cannot be broken. The women's spirit endures, lighting the way forward. Their legacy is unbreakable.